You make some really good points, but you're not completely objective. Some receipts really prove his point. Leaving them out only makes me doubt how much did she pay you. 0. To say that I'm doing this because I'm being paid is not only contrary to years of documented evidence of me talking about DV and abuse, but do you know how much more I would be paid if I just went to Page 6 or TMZ or the Daily Mail and just showed them evidence of Lively's team trying to buy me off? That'd be a really nice vacation. It's ludicrous that my comment section is filled with accounts that look like this saying, no, Baldoni's totally not running a smear campaign run by bots. I'm the bot. But let's do as they say here and take an objective look at the receipts and see, do they prove Baldoni's point? And let's go with the most damaging, the exchange at the heart of the headline of the New York Times' article. We can bury anyone. Does Baldoni prove that that conversation never happened? Baldoni's complaint says that when viewed in full context, these hand-picked doctored communications lose their manufactured impropriety and disprove Lively's allegations. So let's head over to page 65 if you're following along at home, where they show the truth of that conversation. Now, the first thing to notice is that Baldoni's own complaint cuts off the messages from Lively's complaint, the first 2 messages leading into this conversation, where Jennifer Abel says to Melissa that Justin wants to feel like she, referring to Lively, can be buried. And Melissa responds, of course, but you know when we send over documents, we can't send over the work we will or could do because that could get us into a lot of trouble. Baldoni's complaint just removes those messages and ignores them completely. Not off to a great start if transparency is your goal. Now, Lively's complaint does exclude a message that comes in between these messages, but that message is present in the version found in Stephanie Jones's complaint. Jones is also suing Baldoni. Jones's version also includes the 2 earlier messages that are found in Lively's version, but are excluded from Baldoni's version of the conversation. Baldoni's version also includes a number of messages that weren't included before the final message, but both Lively and Jones's versions include a break, so they're not suggesting that this was the only message. Okay, so let's just objectively read through Baldoni's version of the conversation and see if the context is dramatically changed and it disproves Lively's allegations. We can't write it down to him. We can't write, we will destroy her. We will go to this, we will do this, we will do this, we will do this. Of course not, but I told him that's the point of talking through. He has to look at it as an information document for us to be armed with. That's all. Imagine if a document saying all the things that he wants ends up in the wrong hands. The work is not the document, the work is the crisis. Lol. If it's any consolation, he's like this with everything. Overthinks, stresses, high anxiety. He just needs to be educated on how this process works. You know that we can bury anyone, but I can't write that to him. I will. I'll be very tough. The excluded messages here don't change the context at all. They're very clearly discussing their difficulty in explaining to Justin what exactly Melissa will do to Lively, because to put it plainly in writing would be incriminating. I don't know how anyone can objectively read this screenshot alone in Baldoni's own complaint and not come to the conclusion that, yeah, Baldoni, Heath, Abel, and Nathan were conspiring to bury Lively's reputation. In fact, I openly challenge anyone who is Team Baldoni to stitch this video, to explain what the correct context of imagine if a document saying all the things he wants ends up in the wrong hands is. What is the perfectly innocent explanation for why Melissa can't plainly write down what exactly they are planning to do to Lively? I know they won't, of course, because they absolutely refuse to address Baldoni's behavior, instead attacking Lively in a terribly predictable fashion. 4 days ago, I said it will not be surprising when all this gets blamed on Ryle instead of Justin. So, I don't know, make sure you're sitting down because you'll never guess what the latest theory is.
I'm not a method actor and the person across from me is, and they're playing a character like Ryle. I might get caught up sometimes and be confused. I'm not gonna lie. Do you think method acting could have caused some of these issues? Let me know.
Lively's just confused. It was Ryle that told her he guessed he missed the HR meeting. It was Ryle who confessed that he didn't always stop when women told him no. That wasn't Justin, no. If we put even half the effort we put into excusing why allegations of abuse couldn't possibly be true, into giving victims the room and space to fairly have their say without shaming or degrading them, we would not keep repeating this cycle and letting monsters have long-lived successful careers at the expense of the men and women who are fed to them and destroyed by them. And all of this against the backdrop of a story that is about ending that very cycle. It's supposed to end with us, not be stoked, encouraged, and perpetrated by us. And until we learn that lesson, the cycle will continue.